Yeah. Good morning to all. My proposed work title is Relation Extraction between Biomedical Entities from Literature Using Semi-Supervised Learning Approach. Before start with this, my research, before start with this work, let me introduce myself. My name is Saranya. I am working in Anna University, which is located in Tamil Nadu, in India country, in country of India. I'm currently working as a teaching assistant in Anna University CG campus. I'm doing my part-time research under the guidance of Dr. Aroke Zevirani and Dr. TV Geeta. So let's move on to our work. So before, let me start with this, my proposed work. Let me tell you the which is needed to understand the work. These are all the things which is needed before start with the work. So really, what is a drug discovery and development? So drug discovery is nothing but the process of identifying a new candidate drugs for a disease and bringing it to the market, which should be very safe and effective to the particular diseases. So the cost which is needed for developing a new drugs will take 1.8 nearly 1.8 billion dollars, which is more time consuming, as well as um, we cannot assure that it will leads to success at the end of the production, isn't it? So it will take more time. So it consists of four steps. In drug discovery, there is target identification, and then we need to identify the validation, and then identification and lead optimization. So this is comes under drug discovery. So in drug development, it consists of four steps. Okay, preclinical research and clinical trials and approval of FDA and the post-market surveillance. So in case if you're finding out the 10,000 substances, that is chemical substances in initial stage, when it is moving on to the preclinical research stage, only 250 out of 10,000 compounds are entering into the preclinical research. So in the next into the FDA review stage, out of 250, only five compounds or substances are getting entered. Because maybe in the clinical trials, the most of the drugs may get failure, and it due to some reasons. At the end, only one compound is uh, coming into the market for a particular disease. So these are the basic steps which they are doing in drug discovery and development process. So if you are doing it in a manual way, it is a very time consuming, isn't it? So in order to avoid that, we are moving on to the computational techniques. Okay, so these are the tips which is involved in drug discovery. That is a target identification. So when we are talking about drug discovery, any disease which will be associated with particular target. The target may be gene, protein, enzyme, or whatever may be the targets. So each and every disease will be associated with minimum of one target. So okay, so we need to identify which target is associated with for a particular disease. So next one is we have to validate that particular target. So for example, if more than one drugs are getting associated with particular target, that is a protein. So we need to identify which one is the valid one for giving a therapeutic benefit. And with acceptable safety for a given disease. Okay. The next one is a lead discovery, which will be identifying biologically active compounds likely to be therapeutically useful. The thousands of compounds are screened. The next one is lead optimization. Lead compounds are chemically modified to get the suitable properties of a drug. Involves multiple parameters. So these are the drug discovery steps. Okay. The next one is drug development steps, which one is the preclinical research. So in the preclinical research stage, they will be observing like how it is observed, distributed, metabolized, and excreted. That is when you are giving this particular drug, how it is reacting. So that will be checking in preclinical research, and the best dosage. So different varieties of doses will be given to the particular organism or a particular species, and the best dosage will be identified. The next one is side effects and adverse drug events that can be referred to as toxicity. So these are the things and how it affects for a different groups of peoples, like say in gender wise or age wise, etc. Then how it interacts with other drugs under treatment. So if it is suppose in case the person is taking more than one drugs at a time, how the particular drug is getting interacted with the other drugs which they are taking already. So these are the things which they are checking in the preclinical research. Okay. The next one is a clinical trial. So in the clinical trials, they're having 4 phases. So all the phases that the drug should get success in all the phases. The next one is Food and Drug Administration review and approval. So once it is approved by the FDA administration, then only it is moving on to the market. So before that, post-market surveillance stage is there. So in the report problems associated with approved drugs to monitor databases, electronic health records, etc. Okay. So these are the drug development procedure. So computational, just a minute. Yeah. Computational techniques, an effective strategy for accelerating and economizing drug discovery and development process. And that is, as I told you already, to avoid the more manpower necessary, and as well as the to remove the time consuming process. We are moving on to the computational techniques. Okay. Then in already for the drug discovery, we are having a CAD software and reverse docking, protein structure prediction, molecular docking, then QSER. These are the already existing computational techniques. Then for drug development, understanding the various biomedical associations for the developing a new drugs, we should first identify and analyze the association between the different biomedical entities. So as I told you already, whenever the disease is coming to our body, it is automatically associated with particular target. The targets may be gene, proteins, or enzymes, whatever may be the targets. So we should identify the association between the biomedical entities of interest, which we are going to identify the relations between those entities. So then this is progression models, precision medicine, and analysis of new medically important findings. So these are the different computational techniques which is available. So methodologies which they are using for producing these type of computational softwares, that may be data mining. In the data mining, we are having a that is text mining, or they can use network analysis, or they can use machine learning models. In machine learning models, the subpart is deep learning models. Next one is biomedical entities. So before moving on to the detail, let me tell you what are the biomedical entities. Those who have not welfare of this the biomedical terms, let me tell you what is a disease. So this is the abnormal condition which is happening negatively affects the structure or function or of a part of all organisms. Symptom abnormal, which is also abnormalities that can indicate a potential medical condition. Then drug is a chemical substance of known structure which is used to treat particular disease. Then side effects, undesirable effect which is happening when we are taking an medicine, or extra additional effects which is happening in our body when we're taking a medical treatment. Then target is gene, protein, enzyme, or biological origin of a disease. Pathway is nothing but a series of actions among molecules in a cell that leads to a certain product or a change in a particular cell. So the pathways can be can also used to turn on or turn off genes. Okay. So these are the different terms. And next we will move on to the what are the entities which may have an association, which may be associated between each other. Okay. So these are the associations. The target may be similar to the another target. Then target is associated with pathway, and target is associated with drug, and drug is similar to another drug, and target is associated with disease, and disease associated with the symptoms, and disease may also similar to another diseases, and drug is having in side effect relationship, and drug is having an adverse drug events effect also. So these are the different types of associations which we are looking in biomedical field. By discovering these type of biometric associations, we can give a solution to any type of problems. So here, for drug discovery and development process, I'm going to give a solution by identifying the relationship between the drug and target, and as well as target and disease. So these are the two relationships I'm going to identify it from the biomedical literature. Even though there are many data sources are available, which may not be updated properly. So we may get new evidence or new relations from the already existing literatures. That is because nowadays there are many literatures are getting uploaded into the internet, isn't it? So that's why this is a very crucial and which is essential work in the biomedical field. Then various data sources are, if you're considering a text, there are research articles, Medline, PubMed, the EHR records, that is the clinical trials. If you're considering talking about the databases, we're having a data drug bank, CIDR, KICK, PubChem, CTD, OMIM, Uniprot, BindingDB, Metator, Unformg, KB, etc. Then we are talking about the ontologies. We are having a disease ontology, gene ontology, then international classification of diseases, then chemical entities of biological interest, that is a chem, CHEBA, etc. Talking about social media, Twitter, Facebook, health record related forums. Okay, and then you're talking about images, CT images, MRI, fMRI, the cancer imaging archive, that is TCIA, etc. Clinical trial records and lab reports. So these are the various data sources which we can take it and we can process it, and which, and get the necessary outputs, and which will be giving on to the other field. Okay. Other steps, next forthcoming steps in the biomedical field. Then we're talking about the drug bank, which is richly annotated resource that combines detailed description about the data, drug data with comprehensive drug target information, which is also freely accessible. Then CIDR, which is contains information about the drug and side effects information. Then CTD, it has information about chemical target and chemical disease and target disease relationships. Then KEG, Kaito Encyclopedia of Genes and Genomes. So it will contains information about the genomic, chemical, and systematic functional information of the cell. The next one is PubChem, Open Chemistry Database, information on a chemical structures, identifiers, chemical and physical properties, safety, toxicity data, and many others. Uniprot is universal protein source repository for protein data. OMIM, online Mendelian inheritance in man, catalog of human genes and the genetic disorders. So these are the databases. Then motivation of this work is to reduce the time and cost of the drug discovery process, identifying and predicting by predicting the biomedical association among the entities of interest, and extract the associations that is submerged in the unstructured text document. Then predict unknown potentially useful associations by understanding the indirect relationships between the entities. For indirect relationship, in the sense, what I'm saying is maybe drug 1 is giving an association with drug 2, and drug 2 is giving association with target 1. So we can say this drug 1 is also maybe associated with target 1. So these are the indirect association between the entities. To model an integrated machine learning framework by considering the different perspectives of each biomedical association. So this is my motivation of this work. There are computational methods for biomedical associations. We are divided into 3 parts. Okay. The first one is knowledge-based extracting the association. The next one is similarity-based. The next one is network-based inference. As of now, I'm concentrating on knowledge-based extracting the associations. So the scientific literatures or articles are available in Medline. Electronic health records are there. Knowledge is buried in the free text with limited machine understandability. So what I'm saying is, if it is not in a structured format, it is in an unstructured format, so the machine cannot understand the information. For this, I'm going to use the text mining and NLP techniques in order to change into a structured format, which can be easily understandable by the machines. Okay. So other similar methods are similarity based, which means that assumption what I'm considering here is the entities having similar biological profiles or similar represent each entity's biological profiles as a feature vector and model as a classification problem. So there is a similarity based predicting the new association. The network based inference also the assumption is that entities having similar biological profiles are similar. Construction of with the help of constructing the homogeneous or heterogeneous network, I will be using network embedding techniques that will be representing the each and every nodes in the vector representation, and this can be either classified as a link prediction problem to identify the new associations between the entities. Okay. So as I told you, I have concentrated on knowledge-based methods as of now. Okay, I'm not saying this is more useful. This is having advantage, like not like that. As of now, I'm concentrating knowledge-based methods as the more informations are available in the internet as a literature, scientific literature. So PubMed and Medline having millions of publications. So when you're talking about knowledge-based techniques, they have used different methods, co-occurrence-based methods or rule-based methods or syntactic analysis and dependency path trees. So these are the methods. Okay, so co-occurrence statistics extract the relations by the analyzing the frequency of co-occurrence of the two entities in a given corpus. Okay, in the abstract level, which is also in sentence level. Then syntactic analysis and dependency path trees, rule-based systems by domain experts. We can produce availability of tagged corpus. If we are having a tagged corpus, we can use machine learning techniques or deep learning techniques to find the neural association. Then different types of associations that are handled, drug target association, target disease, and drug disease, and drug target, protein, and drugs adverse drug events, etc. Okay, as I told you already, with the help of biomedical associations diagram. In the same, so we can extract many type of association between the entities of interest which we want from to between which entities we want to extract the, find out the new associations. Okay, so moving into my work, so automatic information extraction, which is an unstructured text to computer readable format, because the text document is unstructured format, isn't it? So in order to make it into a structured format, this is the first objective in automatic information extraction. Then manual annotation is expensive and time consuming. So very less or no tagged corpus. So because of time consuming and the expensive things, and there is no tagged corpus are available, which is very lessly only less amount of corpus is annotated, that is tagged. So cannot be handled using a supervised methods. So because supervised learning methods needs an tagged corpus, so which is very less. Okay, so millions of research articles or which is huge unlabeled data are available. So from the unlabeled data using semi-supervised approach techniques, I'm going to because the availability of huge unlabeled data, I'm going to use a semi-supervised learning technique, because for the semi-supervised learning approach, we can only need a less quantity of the tagged corpus. So with the help of less tagged corpus, I can easily able to easily able to generate the tagged information for the unlabeled data, isn't it? So the high ambiguity of the natural language that is expressing a fact in more than one way remains us a key challenge, because the same information can be expressed in different way. I love my country. I like my country. So these are the meaning is same, but it is represented in a different way. That is expressing the fact is more than one way, isn't it? So that is a big challenge in this work. So for example, considered here. So inhibited, association, associated, treated. So for example, association and associated meaning is same, but it is represented, represented in different way, isn't it? So inhibitor, meaning is, the same the same concept in different ways. So understanding the syntax of the sentence is essential for identifying the relation. Okay. So here, this green color represents drug, this blue represents gene, and the red color represents the disease. Okay. So this drug, gene, and disease are the entities, biomedical entities. As I told you already, what is the drug, gene, and disease, isn't it? So here, treated, treatment is both are the same concept, but the meaning is the way which is represented here is different in each and every sentence. So this is the very big challenge when we are considering the text mining concept. So these are the literature I have been go through before coming up with my new idea. So the first work, they have used extract the words between two biological entities to represent the pattern. So kernel method-based pattern clustering to identify interaction words, rule based on the length of dependency path for relation extraction. So what the limitation in this paper here is conducted experiments on a limited data set. Okay, only 50,000 data maybe documents they have used. Low precision, that is a pattern, only the pattern path length as far as very few interaction words are identified. So entities that are far from each other, far away, but that is related to each other are not been considered. So they have considered only the entities which are which are closely related. Okay. So path length greater than 4 has not been considered. Okay. The next one is next paper they have used n-gram word feature, distance feature, list of interaction words as a binary feature are used for feature kernel. Then they have used co-training and try-training algorithm to predict the new association. And designed for only two relation types. Needs manually annotated corpus with positive and negative labels. And then need to define interaction feature for each relation type needs domain expertise. That is a limitation over here. In the next paper, they have used pattern-based bootstrapping technique, extract the Arabic semantic relation, then pass tag-based pattern they have used, and dependency parser used to omit negative relation. So here the limitation is designed for 4 types of relation, that is purse or lock and date, because they have Arabic semantic, no? So they have only extracted these 4 type of relations. Okay, has to be modified to handle by biomedical. Then conducted experiments on a limited data set. Entities that are far away and related to each other are not been considered. And then the next paper they have used CDR corpus and the protein interaction tasks, approximate subgraph matching kernel and all path graph kernel pass to pass a tree of a sentence. So which is a limitation is supervised needs and annotated corpus positive and negative labels because they were used to supervise learning. Does not handle imbalance present in the data set. Okay, so these are the some certain limitations. From this limitations, what are the research gaps I have identified in the from this are when we're talking about in terms of supervised learning, doesn't handle imbalanced data problem, and the machine learning model built on a very small size data corpus, which mainly produce overfitting problem, poor performance on a new independent test data, and poor generalization. The next one is make use of unlabeled data. We can have either unsupervised or semi-supervised. Unsupervised method low performance entities that are far away from away and related to each other not been considered, and semi-supervised approach entities that are far away and related to each other not been considered. Semantics of the association not considered, and needs manually annotated corpus with positive and negative labels at least of order 300. Okay. So from this, I framed my objective as to building a semi-supervised learning model to extract the biomedical association by making use of huge unlabeled corpus, and to build a model with a very small initial seed set would extract the association even if there is no tagged corpus, and identify the entities that are far away in the sentence but are related, and also the semantics involved in the association. So these are my objective, which will produce the good result for extracting the association between the entities. Here, I'm going to find out the association between the drug and target and disease. That is drug and gene and disease. Okay. So the dependency parsing I have used in my method. So the dependency parsing is nothing but how each and every words in the sentences are related to the root word, that is main word. The dependency parser, a syntactic parsing mechanism, is used as a feature. So this can be used as a feature in my work to recognize the grammatical structure of the sentence. So with this, the entities which are having more than two entities in the same sentence, that much type of pattern I can extract. That is, for example, here consider 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 relations, 5 entities are there. So I can say that so 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can say that the associations can be extracted between 1 to 2 and 1 to 3 and 1 to 4 and 1 to 5. Then 2 to 1, I mean, sorry, 2 to 3, 2 to 4. It is a combination wise. Okay. So I have to put all the combination. And one more thing, if the sentence is not having a drug gene or a gene disease entities, I will not consider those sentences because I'm going to extract the association between the drug and gene entities, isn't it? So the sentence which is not having any of the entities or only one type of entities, I'm not going to consider those type of sentences. Okay. Pattern-based bootstrapping steps are, the first one is I have to consider the small initial seed set. Okay, how the representations are, how the patterns are represented here is dependency path between the biomedical entities. Let me tell you what is a dependency path. How do I extract the dependency path? Let me tell you in the forthcoming slides. Generation of new patterns from the seed pattern is carried out with the proposed two-level masking technique. One is entity level, the second one is dependency level. The generated patterns are given scores based on the scoring technique. There is a frequency based scoring and support based scoring. So based on the scoring, whether I can consider the generated pattern as the next seed pattern to the next iteration or not. So based on the scoring, I have been calculating. So here the considered the sentence metronidazole provided to be effective and safe in the treatment of periodical dermatitis in children. So the dependency tree of this tree sentence will be like this. So the shortest path, so here this metronidazole is a drug and the periodical dermatitis in children is a disease. Okay. So here what I'm doing here is I'm going to extract the shortest dependency path between these two entities. So the path will be dependency graph of a sentence, the shortest path connecting the two. So I have to take the path which is connecting this particular two entities. So I can take metabolism n subject via this n subject relation proved and XCOM relation, the effective and n mod treatment and the perioral dermatitis. Okay, so this is the shortest path. This I have been given here. No. So from this, I have generated a pattern like metabolism, n subject, proved, excomp, effective, nmod, treatment, nmod, PRL, dermatitis. So this is my pattern after lemmatization. So the advantages of using shortest path between the entities are concise the representation of entities that are even too far in the sentence but are related to each other. So that is also can be considered. So that's problem is I covered using the shortest dependency path. So this is my overall architecture. So using the DDT database and drug bank database, I will be selecting the drug, gene, and disease pairs. Then collect the PubMed IDs from the PubMed database for the given entities. So by giving this PMI, by collecting this PMIDs, I can extract the XML documents from the using the PubData tool. I will be using the pre-processing step, that is the sentence splitting, then selecting the sentence which is having a drug gene or gene disease pairs. As I told you, the sentence which is not having a drug gene or gene disease pairs, I won't be considered the sentences. Okay. So then I will be doing dependency passing for each sentences. I'm sort of dependency path between the entities of interest are considered. And I'm going to consider the seed pattern with the help of PubData tool initially. Then after that, I'm going to use the unlabeled corpus, and with the help of seed pattern, I'm going to mask two-level masking. That's the entity level masking and the dependency level masking. I will be generating a new patterns. So the new I will be checking whether the new generated patterns are useful or not to the next iteration by calculating the pattern scoring. You may either frequency based or support based. So I will be setting the new pattern which is higher the threshold. And the extracted relations as a triples, entity 1 relation and the entity 2. Okay, so this is the overall architecture. So pattern based bootstrapping, lemmatization of the words in the shortest path to be through their proper root form. So here the pattern length varies in the size according to the length of the dependency path between the entities. So here for a relation to happen, minimum path length is 5. So from 5, I can consider it can be up to any size. Okay, the path length. The seed set single a seed pattern for each length based on the number of relation types considered as the varying pattern length for every type. The seed pattern count differs. Okay, so the triples are relation 1, trigger word, and the relation entity 2. Okay. So here, consider here, this is the entity 1, C1 and C2 are the entities, and DP is the dependency relation in the shortest path, and the W is the words in the shortest path. Okay. So this can be the star represents the occurred more than one or more than one times. Okay. So this is the 5 window pattern or 7 window pattern or 9 window, 11, 13, etc. Okay, this is a 5 window pattern. This is the 7 window pattern. There is entity 1, dependency relation, then word, dependency relation, and entity 2. So hence the trigger words from the trigger word pool, which has been identified from the 5 window pattern, is utilized for choosing the trigger words in the higher order pattern initially. Okay. So the higher order window size patterns more than one word in their representation. As you know, in the 5 window only I'm having only one word. In the number of window, the size of the window size is getting increased. The words in the, occurred in the pattern is also getting increased. So this is the pattern representation. Then this is the interlevel masking. So for example, this is the seed pattern. If it's an entity level masking, what I'm doing here is I will be masking in terms of by giving an actual name. I will consider this as a drug and this as a gene. Okay, so this the sentence which are having which is in the same format, that is drug, relation, root word, and the relation and the gene. So this can be considered here. Okay, in this alpha-nozole TNF alpha, and the inhibit is the root word, and Alexon inhibits and DGG the gene name, and Oloclipidine inhibited DPP4. This is with the help of this is the interlevel masking. What I'm saying here is with all the sentence which is having inhibit and the entities are different. Okay, alphonazole, alloxone, allogliptin, and cardamomine is different. No, and the targets is also different. So the same in entity level masking, I'm just masking the entities, not the root word. If it is a dependency level masking in the sense, so instead of any subject, I can get any other relation also. So likewise, so these are the dependency level masking examples given over here. So when I'm giving the drug, so instead of N subject, I'm getting ACL, RELCL. Okay, the inhibit is same. Then DO object. So instead of DO object, I can mask this also, and I can get any other N mod also. So these are the dependency level masking by just masking the dependency relations and just checking whether any other relations also may be possible to come between this drug and gene to get the newly unknown association between the entities. Okay, so as we suppose if we are having more number of patterns from the given seed patterns, we need to check whether it is very useful or not by scoring the patterns. Okay, for that I'm using a frequency based scoring. That is SF is equal to PI by P seed. The number of times pattern I occurs belongs to the unlabeled corpus, and the P seed, number of times seed pattern occurs belongs to the unlabeled corpus. So based on the threshold which I'm setting, I can consider whether it's useful to the next iteration or not. Okay. Then pattern scoring is based on the support based. ST is equal to support of TI divided by support of T seed. So TI is the relation triples identified by the pattern I, and the T seed is the relation triples identified by the seed pattern. Both are belongs to the unlabeled corpus. So based on these both scorings, I'm going to use whether the generated patterns that can be used in the next iteration or not. Okay. So the data set descriptions are taken from PubData unlabeled data. So this can be considered as an unlabeled corpus. Okay, the Neo ADR corpus is used for using it as a seed pattern. Initially, I'm giving a seed pattern in different window size, no 5 window, 7 window, 9 window, etc. So for that, I'm using EU-ADR corpus, which consists of the known drug target association, target disease and the drug disease associations with the 100 abstracts. Then CTD for evaluation and scoring. Okay, the scoring, I'm calculating scoring part. No, for that, I'm using the manually curated information about drug target, target disease, and drug disease relationships from indirect or indirect and the inferred methods. Okay. So the evaluations have been considered the April 2018 version of PubData. Centers with at least 2 different types of entities are considered for the unlabeled corpus. So I have used a standard dependency parser, standard for NLP lemmatization in my work as a tools to produce the patterns as well as the dependency parsing. So when I'm using a 5-window patterns, I have extracted the 5,28,626 associations are a new pattern. So when we're using a 7-window, it is like this. For 9-window, it is like this. Okay. So when we are increasing the window size, the number of associations or patterns is also getting increased because to get the sentence and the entities which are far away, but actually it is related in the sentence. So for that, it is very useful. And patterns learned here is, so here the drug gene is and drug disease relations highest, sorry. Here I made a mistake. For a drug gene, the highest is learned in 7-window size. For the gene disease, it is learned from 9-window. So when you're taking a 9-window pattern, my learning is very high compared to the 7-window. When we're talking about the gene disease. Okay. Next one is the relation pair count. The number of relations I have been identified using the bootstrapping is for the drug gene 50,105 and for the gene this is 1,25,000 21,576. So among this 50,105, which have evidence in the CTD databases are 14,116. Okay, then. So the huge amount of inferred gene disease associations in CTD is 82% evidence and drug gene is 32% evidence because out of 50,105 new relations count, I have been checked with the evidence which is having in CTD is 14,116, which is 35%. 78,014 out of 121,576 is which has 82% evidence for the gene disease association. Okay. Then top 5 patterns are this drug opposes a relation inhibitor compound and gene. This is for the with respect to 5-window. So these are the top 5 patterns which generated more number of relations from the literature. When we are talking about 7-window, which is talking about the 9-window with respect to drug gene relation, the relationship between the drug and gene. With respect to gene and disease, these are all the different patterns which I have been extracted, used, and I have been identified. These are the top 5 patterns which for the gene disease relation with respect to different window sizes, say 5, 7, 9 respectively. So top 5 relations are glucose, insulin, Jeptinib and the EFGR, and iron and TF, calcium and the PTH, estrogens and the ESRI. As the estrogen receptor 1, in accordance to the drug gene association. If you're talking about the gene disease association, so these are the top 5 relations which I have been identified from the literature. Then these are the trigger words. Okay, trigger words in the sense inhibits, treated, associated, metabolized. So these are the trigger words. Trigger words, the word along with the trigger word in the 7-window pattern gives additional semantic information about the relation. So higher order window patterns, either single or coupled trigger words in their relation, triple representation. Okay. So in the talking about the drug gene inhibitor, receptor, activity, antagonist, and phosphorylation, these are the different trigger words or association type. When you're talking about the drug gene, for the gene disease, expression, gene level, mutated, associated, etc. Okay. So the relation counts are the newly identified relation counts are 283 with the help of a single entity, that is single trigger word. For the gene disease, it is 339 for the single trigger word, that is. So this is single trigger word, isn't it? Cell, expression, etc. If suppose the pattern length is increased, I may get two trigger words also. Okay. So the comparison with the state of the art method, that's the existing methods are supervised. It is very 83.3 is the score for the drug, that is a drug gene. My work is 84.36. When the precision is getting increased, 86.1 compared to a 74.2. For the target disease also, it is 75.1 minus 85.7. So which is also very nice performance. So the findings and future predictions, future directions are the proposed system is able to learn a lot of useful patterns from a very small seed set. The entities that are far away and related to each other also identified, able to extract more reliable relation pairs and the semantics involved through the trigger words. The framework can be extended to the other relation types where there is no labeled corpus. For example, drug disease, drug target, other that is we have found drug, protein, etc. So future directions are systems performance is evaluated based on the relation pairs and not on the relation triples. Okay. Then future trigger words normalized with the help of a domain expert and the relation triples can be evaluated. Handles only entities that are related within the sentence. Additional distinguishing features in the pattern. That is, for example, we have been identified the relation within the sentence. We have not considered across the sentence. So this is also can be considered in your future directions. So these are the some of the future works which I can produce the solutions for these 4 or 5 future works. So these are my references. Have been used to come up with this work and for the evaluation, etc. So if you have any queries, you can ask me. Yeah, thank you one and all for listening with your patience. Yeah, thank you everyone.